closed for Abraham until Sarah was gone, and that that makes her very noble, and that Keturah is Hagar, and that's a mind blower for me. Like I'd always thought Keturah was just this random chick who shows up and has like 5 kids for Abraham, but if it's Hagar, what a tidy little closing of the narrative, and then again it ties into what you were saying about the importance of, you know, family reconciliation, peace within a family.
Mm-hmm.
What, are you struggling with the womb closed?
I've never heard that one before.
Let that be a lesson to you, ladies. If you find the right one, just stay chaste until the very, very end, and maybe you'll come back. Like,
yeah, close that womb until...
So that you're like 140-year-old
that's right.
Man.
Until his 100-year marriage ends. But yeah, no, I'd never heard that either. I thought it was fascinating.
We're 5 minutes into Torah talk, and Joey needs a paper towel.
Yeah.
If that were the case, why took another wife? Why another wife? Why not took... I mean...
Maybe he had something
where
for
does that
Hagar.
theory come from?
Well,
it's a midrash. I'm sure it's based on a midrash.
Yeah, they just pull midrashim out of their asses. But it's no,
okay.
I don't know that that's true. I'm joking.
No, but what they do in midrash is they try to reduce the number of personalities for acting.
Okay.
And so instead of saying this is a whole new woman, they say no, this is Hagar.
Gotcha.
So they're always doing that in midrash.
Interesting.
It's personage parsimony.
Oh, what a great term.
The hermeneutic of personage parsimony.
That's awesome. I'm so going to use that in a different context.
Nice.
That's what you said. You know, good science is all about parsimony. So I guess a good textual analysis is too. Cool.
At least with the midrash.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait a second. Because...
But you're wondering why he went back to Hagar. If it's true, then why he went back to Hagar rather than just not starting fresh?
I want to see... I guess I just want to see, like, possible indications of that in the text. But am I looking for something that doesn't
I don't
exist?
think there's anything in the text.
No, there. I mean, that's one of the disorienting things I think about hearing about midrashim about the text is that it seems, like I was saying, for someone not as learned as Luke, for me it feels like, well, how did they come up with that? It just seems to come out of nowhere, and sometimes it totally violates the plain reading of the text. But you know, they don't pull it out of their ass. They're like, you know, they're.
It's the hermeneutic of personage parsimony.
You'd be, you know, I'm embarrassed that I didn't know about it, to be honest.
Why are the Palestinians giving us a hard time when it's obvious that Abraham bought the land? So,
well, occasionally you will hear, not if you read it today, but if you read older Arab writings on Palestine, occasionally you actually will read someone saying, well, we trying, as they were then, to come to some kind of peaceful understanding. We understand. It says in the Torah, you know, that the Jews Veritans. It's not a politically. You won't hear it today, but no, they get that. But I don't know. It's just not foremost on their minds these days. You know, they say that, and also they don't actually, even though they'll talk kindly about the Torah, they'll say that when it comes down to it, they'll say, well, it was all modified over the years anyway. It's not the true text anymore, so it's not. You know, the way they think that Ishmael was the one who was actually, the Akedah was with Ishmael rather than with Isaac, you know, because they think the Jews changed the text. But that doesn't mean they're not good people.
you're leading the way here, Joe.
Okay, all right.
You're going to bring
all right.
Helen into the conversation.
Yes, I will. Let me find the next. I got overeager and skipped to Toledot. Let's see. I mean, this is. I don't mean to appeal to prurient interests, but the whole thing where Abraham asks his foremost servant to put his hand under my thigh.
Oh yeah.
Well, that is a reference. He was asking him to squeeze his penis. It's universally agreed, and it's like
a biblical handshake.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Joey and I do it all the time.
yeah. You know, don't knock it till you've tried it. I always say that. It's a real bonding thing, you know. But no, that you it's like
Tell a lot about
I said,
the
I want you to bring
relationship
Helen
is.
to Torah Talk today.
Right.
And he
Well,
says, I will. I said, okay, let's swear on it.
yeah, right, and it's mutual, one, and you know, but you know, I don't know.
It's not a gay thing. It's just
No,
it's
you
biblical.
couldn't get straighter.
You couldn't get straight.
Right.
So,
But no, it does. It's I guess like a handshake, but also like swearing on a Bible.
pinky swear.
It's like a pinky swear, but
Bigger.
more binding.
That's what-
It's I don't know. If you do them enough, eventually you run into a Bible. But more binding. And it was the I think the Rashi explanation was that he had Abraham was very proud of his circumcision. Because you're supposed to swear on something that's very meaningful
Right.
to you, and
Well,
the
it
thing he
makes
was
sense
proudest
then
of
that-
was his penis.
Well, and it seems symbolic also, considering that he's the father of nations. So that's
Right,
like,
the
here's-
seed of
here's what I
Abraham.
got.
Right,
You
right.
know?
Well, it's true, right? And we're
Yeah.
Jews are the seed of Abraham, so Abraham's penis was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
But also away
Abraham's
from
penis
away
was a
from
big deal.
from the peculiarities of his penis. I think it's also a traditional. I think that wouldn't be unique to Jewish culture. I think other cultures, men of other cultures, arrived at the same way of sealing deals. But I don't know. Yeah, as far as
Where is that thigh thing? Let's see.
I wonder if there's any analogous thing for women.
What are you looking for, Helen?
I'm actually looking for that line.
Oh,
That's right at the beginning of the
Yeah.
portion.
It's 24:2. And Abraham said to the senior
Oh,
servant
right.
of his household who had
Put your
charge-
hand under my thigh.
Right.
Oh, wink, wink.
Right.
And
yeah.
Wow.
But it's, I don't know, do you think, Helen, I felt that this was some of our parshas are very heavy, have a lot of violence. This one had a lot of gender and sexuality stuff. I mean,
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
There's lots of focusing on the virginity of Rebecca
Mhm.
and,
And when she sees Isaac praying in the fields, and she asks his servant, who is that? And he says, that's my master. And she says, and she immediately veils herself.
right.
I mean, she's agreed to be presented to him as his wife, and
Right.
we find out soon after that he takes her and loves her, and
Yeah.
all is good. But that initial sort of like, oh, there he is, I better hide myself, and
Right.
But- yeah.
Yeah. Emily Dickinson wrote a poem about that, in which she was saying that, yeah, just the awe of Rebecca at seeing Isaac, and just
Right.
yeah,
You do get the sense when you first meet her that she's very self-possessed, and and she wastes no time making her decision. She and even her family says, let her stay with us for 10 months or a year,
right,
and then she can go to you. And of course, Isaac's servant says, no, I need to bring her back
Right.
now. And so they ask her,
Right,
which I think is important too. They let her make that decision
Yes.
for herself, and she says, I'll go.
yeah, that's true.
You
That's
don't
right,
get the sense that there's any hesitation.
right. No, she's very strong.
She's strong. She goes on the journey, and then when she sees him praying in the field, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm self-conscious.
right.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Which is, you asked about sexuality and the gender stuff, but I just feel like that kind of goes with it.
Yeah, it's
And she sure knew how to water a camel.
yeah, she
And very
Camel.
generously.
but very
She watered
generously.
10 camels.
But I mean, not just
Not
water,
many Jewish
water
women
and,
these days
and
can water 10 camels.
No.
she's good at what she did.
I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to rag on your sisters, Helen.
No, I don't think my
True.
sister
It's
has
forgotten art.
watered more than one at a time, honestly.
Yeah, and she's very confident the way she's confident and competent.
But
and,
I mean, she was offering up lodging and straw and fodder
Right.
and water, and
You're right, but then she sees but then in the presence of her
Yeah.
husband, she gets all
her husband
coy.
to be. She gets a little coy, and then and it passes quickly. But I think it's interesting that they show just sort of a moment of self-consciousness and weakness, and not even necessarily weakness, but self-consciousness,
Right.
shyness.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I guess right.
but yeah, I mean, it's all about, it's all about the growing into thousands of myriads and the seeds and the.
Right.
What's his name?
Maybe she also just wanted to get out of home.
I got a
Maybe.
little of that. I did because
She
when
was ready.
she's like, yeah, no, I'll go now. No,
Like,
that's okay.
I'll leave this
I'll-
podunk town.
Yeah, right.
I'm up for an adventure.
Well, and that's what actually.